You cannot fail. No, Kubbra, you cannot fail. Words of great conviction, spoken by the high priestess herself. You know, the one with big curly hair, deep dark eyes that were inset and hidden behind dark frames? She wore a nose pin that shone in the dark. But everything was offset with her childlike smile. In fact, it's no surprise that I'm here this evening because my mother knew that I will. My mother had this knack to put me in my place. She would say, Kubbra, speak. And I would go, Sa, I said, speak, do not sing. You make the cat deaf. My mum could actually manifest my future the day she had seen me in my little nest. She just knew out of a million choices of names, she picked the one that touched her heart the most. She picked Kubbra Sait, Sabse Bada, the big one. She had almost carved my destiny the second she had seen me in her nest, and she protected me, nurtured me, fed me, educated me. She even saw every single wing of mine gain strength. And when she believed I was ready, she kicked me out of her nest. And as I was about to fall off, I looked at her and I said, Ma, am I enough? And she said, of course you are. Beta, you can fall, but you cannot fail. This bird flew away, migrated out of her comfort zone, her city, to a brand new country, a whole new space. But there was a brand new challenge. There were innumerable dots, and I had to connect them to make sense out of my life. So I had to do a lot of odd jobs. Well, firstly, I was a waitress. Then I wore an apron and a chef's hat, and I stood outside a mall, opened a box of cookies, and I titillatingly smiled and I said, Sir, will you please try my chocolate chip cookies? I even sat behind a desk and I was fried out of my brains trying to crunch numbers furiously, but I could not excel at Microsoft. I worked in a production house. I worked in an interior company. I even worked in radio and events. In fact, radio and events was where my passion lay, and that brought me to a brand new place, a brand new monster called Mumbai. But guys, I am Kubbra Sait. I cannot fail. I may fall, but I cannot fail. So I said, I'm going to become an actor. And I did. My first film, I was a maid. My first ad, I was a mother. Then Sacred Games happened. In fact, recently I walked the red carpet at the International Emmys, and yet this question haunts me. Am I enough? Am I enough for her? Now please don't get me wrong when I say this. I really love my mama. I love her a lot. But you know what bugs me the most about her? The fact that she's so invested in my success, in me excelling, in me being complete, wholesome, and me being joyous, that just for her own sake, I want to fail. I want to fail so that she realizes that it's okay. Sometimes I wonder if my mom was born in this big production unit where they made a faulty batch of parents. You know, the overprotective, overbearing, omnipresent kinds? And then they realized the glitch, so they broke the mold. Just in order to prove my mother wrong, I have dated tons of douchey guys. You know the small gherkin kinds? The ones who have the ego the size of monsters. I have dated tall, lanky guys who walk like dinosaurs. I've dated people who are super duper rich, but cannot sit for a moment and feel you or listen to you. I have dated men who are delusional. I have dated men who are emotionally vacant, and I did all of this just to prove to my mother that it's okay. It's okay if your marriage failed, but my relationships won't. And no, needless to say, every single one of them was over. And at the end of the breakup, she was the first person I called. Maybe I was born in that same production unit, same faulty batch, and I really wish they broke my mold. My mother is super brave. You know, she had this knack of withdrawing secrets from you because she would always tell me, Beta, please, you tell me what it is. I don't want to hear from the world. I can fight them. So when Cuckoo happened and I got that call from my director confirming that I had received the offer, I called her and I said, Ma, thank you. Thank you so much. Because my entire life, you've worn a bulletproof jacket. And you fought against the world for me. But this time around, it's a bit different. Please build yourself a bunker because what's coming is a bazooka. Because for me, it was not just bearing my body, it was me bearing my soul. The show released, and my mother has been with me through my good and my bad, through the love and through the hate. You know, when the show released and she watched it all by herself in her bedroom, she called me, and for the very first time, my mother told me that she was proud of me. Over these years, my mom and I, we've become great friends, yeah. We've become such good friends that we share friends. We actually talk to each other more than any mother-daughter should actually be allowed to speak. I've realized that we actually look a lot like each other too. I mean, I have the big curly hair. I have a nose pin just like my mom. We actually take tons of holidays together. And one such holiday, when we were sitting across the table and we clinked our glasses of champagne to celebrate our friendship, she uttered these words. She said, "You are my mother." Now, in that moment, I should have said, "Oh." But that's when I realized I am so invested in my mother to excel, in her to succeed, in her to put herself before others. I don't want my mother to walk with a hunch, I want her to walk erect. All I wanted to say in that moment is, I love you, Mama. But instead I said, you cannot fail. No, Yasu, you cannot.